What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Season 17, Episode 18 of Married at First Sight in Sickness and Suspicion. So let's get started with Austin and Becca. So when we first see Becca, she's doing a video recording of herself, and she's talking about how Austin recently has told her that he doesn't believe that this is going to work out. And she's crying, she's upset about it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is what I've been waiting for. I was happy when I heard this. I was actually relieved when I heard this, because I'm thinking he's finally opening up to her. Like, he's finally being honest with her. He's talking about his real emotions. He's talking about how he really feels about this situation, that they may not be a good match. And I think that Austin and Becca are both intelligent enough to navigate through that successfully, to know how to handle the fact that they may not be, they may not be working out. I think that they can both navigate through that successfully. So I was really excited, but it seemed like it was a very short-lived conversation, and Austin really didn't, take it any further. And that kind of got me upset. When it seemed like, he really didn't expound anymore on that possibility. I don't know if he's afraid of hurting her. I don't know if he's afraid of how he's going to look on camera. To me, he's going to look like a damn hero. If he actually sat down and told her, Becca, I'm not feeling it. I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think that we are each other's person. I would have so much respect for this man. But he probably thinks that people want him to stay with Becca and make it work with Becca, maybe because of her illness, maybe because of the fact that she's likable. I think she's likable. I don't know how y'all feel about her, but I think Becca is likable. So maybe he doesn't want to look like the bad guy by breaking up with her, or I don't know. But I was really happy when she said that he expressed that to her. So the experts do show up, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, and the first thing that Becca talks about is this trinket situation that happened at the Wolf Sanctuary. So when they went to the Wolf Sanctuary, I guess they went to the gift shop and they were buying stuff, trinkets, souvenirs, etc. And for whatever reason, she wanted him to put the stuff that he bought all in one bag with her stuff. And he didn't want to, because I think he said he didn't think all of it was going to fit. So when she has suggested that for them to put everything in one bag, she claims that he snapped at her and told her, don't tell me what to do. And he said it loud enough for the other people to hear, and it made her feel some kind of way. Austin's version is different. He doesn't remember snapping at her. He doesn't remember being upset about it, but he did say that he doesn't like it when she micromanages him. And so that made me think that we don't hear a lot about how Austin, the issues that Austin has with Becca. All we've been focused on is their intimacy issues, and how Becca feels about that, and how that makes her feel unattractive, etc., etc. But we don't hear the things that Austin doesn't like about Becca. So the fact that she's a micromanager, or that he probably feels like that she's too controlling. I mean, we don't know what his issues are with Becca, because we don't ever hear about it. And he probably talks about it, but the producers are like, oh, that's not exciting enough. Let's talk about sex. So then Becca talks about how sometimes he's very dismissive with her. She even says that he's, combative with her. And she talks about how he, when the cameras are there, he acts like he wants to work on their problems. But when the cameras are not there, he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to work on anything. She talks about feeling rejected and that she holds a lot in. She tells him that there's a lot that I can bring up, but I choose not to. And I guess she doesn't, to try to keep the peace in the home. But there's a lot going on with these people. So then Dr. Pepper says that, to her, it seems like they're both are trying to really fight for this. And Becca was like, well, I don't really see him fighting for it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see him really fighting for it either. I don't know what Dr. Pepper meant by that, because, what I have seen is that Austin will talk a good game and he'll make all these promises to her. And it seems like he doesn't deliver, because she'll tell us that nothing happened once again. And, I don't see him trying to fight for anything. And then also, we don't know what his issues are with her. So she may not be working on stuff either. Maybe there's things about her that he doesn't like and that he's expressed to her, and that she's not working on either. I mean, we don't know, because of the way that they edit things. They want to present us with the most salacious, material that they can find, and they probably think that we're not interested in the boring stuff. But I'm interested in knowing, well, what issues does Austin have about Becca? Is she working on stuff, or is it just him that looks like the one that doesn't really care? So Dr. Pepper says, well, if a woman doesn't feel sexually desired in a relationship, it's going to be corrosive to the relationship. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with that. And it goes both ways. If a man feels like that, that's just as corrosive as well. So Becca then brings up Austin getting wasted at the retreat, which prevented them from being intimate. And Dr. Pepper asked him if he did this on purpose just to avoid intimacy with her. And Austin said no, he didn't do it on purpose. And the reason why he didn't sleep with her in the same room was because he thought it was going to be, fun and exciting to sleep in the owner's room. Now, my thoughts on that. Okay, so he got wasted, he got drunk. I really didn't see a problem with that because they're all in this, beautiful home and they're excited and they want to have fun and they want to play games, eat, drink, have a good time. Nobody wants to talk about or think about their problems. Nobody wants to do assignments on the first night of this retreat. People just want to have a good time. So if he got wasted that first night, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. You just want to have fun. Now, the second night and maybe the third, I don't know how long they were there, then I would expect, something to have happened. But for him to not want to work on anything or talk about their problems or do any kind of exercises, I totally get it. I think that she should have, showed him some grace and allowed him to have fun the first night there. So to me, it wasn't a big deal. But Becca has the mindset of he knew when we were going there what the assignment was. He knew that we were supposed to be working on some stuff, but he chose to get drunk, which prevented us from working on anything. And I see where she's coming from. But Becca, let's have a little fun. So Dr. Pepper says that they need to prioritize intimacy. And Becca's like, yeah, duh, we get it. That's what we've been trying to do this whole entire time. So Austin says that when he tries, she's not very receptive. She questions his actions and his intentions. And basically, she doesn't take it too seriously when he does try to get closer to her, which made me think of what happened between them before the experts showed up. Because when they were sitting on the couch together waiting for the experts to show, Austin had asked Becca if he could lay his head on her. And she said no, that she wanted her space. So I'm wondering if that was an example of when he tries to get closer to her, but she rejects him. Or maybe because Becca was crying. Becca was in a really sad state. And I guess he was trying to make her feel better by asking her, hey, can I lay my head on you? To feel closer to her, to comfort her, to close this gap that's in between them. And she told him that she needed her space, which is fine. You need your space. We can respect that. But I'm just wondering if that was an example of what he was talking about, how when he does try, she's not very receptive. So it's like a constant loop with these people. She wants him to do more, and when he does more, she rejects him. I don't know what's going on with these people. So Pastor Cal then says that the issue is the lack of trust. Pastor Cal, please be quiet. With all due respect, that's not what their issue is. Their issue is that Austin is just not that into her. Point blank, period. Austin is not that into her for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter what the hell the reason is. He's just not into Becca. That's all it is. And this is the reason why I wish that Austin would just be more honest with her and tell her that, it's not going to work out. And that's fine. And it's okay. And let's work through that. Let's figure out how we can come to the realization that we're not going to stay together. We're not going to say yes on decision day. And is there maybe a friendship that we can salvage? Or is there potential for us in a romantic sense if we just give it more time in the future? Maybe that's what we need, is more time. Something, instead of telling her that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't do it, and then she gets upset, or you try to get closer to her, but she rejects you. I don't know what the hell's going on with these people. So then they have a hot tub moment where they talk about the meeting, blah, blah, blah. The meeting went well, it was really positive, etc. Austin then tells her that he is committed to working on their issues. Now, I wish he would not have said that, because committed means that you're going to stick with it no matter what. You're committed to it. So I don't know why Austin can't say, Becca, to tell you the truth, I'm just not comfortable right now. Tell her the reason. Don't tell her the reason. Say it on camera. Don't say it on camera. Whatever you prefer. But just tell her, I'm not comfortable, or I prefer for us to not talk about intimacy and not deal with intimacy. And let's just focus on the part of our relationship that does work. Let's just focus on the positive things. Instead of just being bogged down every single day about intimacy, let's, veer the course and focus on what works with us. I don't know why he can't say that. A lot of people have been saying that he's just emotionally immature, and he might be. He might be. He might be. I have no idea. Moving on to Brennan and Emily. So Emily looks great. She's healing beautifully. She looks fantastic. But they're in the kitchen, and Brennan is cleaning up, and she's sitting at the counter. And she talks about how she's still in recovery, and that the doctors told her not to raise her blood pressure for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. I don't know. It just kind of seems like to me that she's going to milk this for all that she possibly can, because of the fact that he is showing her attention. He's being nice to her. He's caring for her, and she's loving it, and she's basking in this. And so she's going to make it last as long as she possibly can. So, yeah. They both talk about how now they can trust each other more. They both admit that the injury brought them closer together, which is wonderful because of the fact that it was really contentious between them. Like I said, she talked about how when the cameras are not there, he gets angry, he punches walls, he throws things. So this has calmed him down, it seems like, a whole lot. And I don't know if he's putting on for the camera, because, with Emily, she tries to please him, and she doesn't want to make him mad. So I don't know if he's like this 24/7 or he's only like this on camera. I have no idea, because she told us that he's a double agent. So I don't know. But it's great that she does feel like he's caring for her. It's great that she feels like, he's just being nicer to her. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't believe, he's being so good to her. And oh my God, this is so wonderful of him. But I'm like, what else is he supposed to do? He can't leave her while she's injured. He's a human. Look, y'all. Brennan is not a bad person. He's not the devil incarnate. He's not evil, wicked, horrible, mean person. He's not. He's a nice person. He's a human being. There's nothing wrong with Brennan. I just don't think that Brennan and Emily are a good match. I would not expect anything less of him. Even though I don't think they're a good match, I would not expect anything less of Brennan than to take care of her and be there for her, because he's human. He's a nice human being, and he's going to care for someone that he lives with who got severely injured. He's supposed to do that. I did not expect Brennan to pack his bags and abandon her after her injury. I never expected that. Of course he was going to take care of her. My issue is that Emily feels like this is a positive thing for him to be so caring and loving towards her after she was injured. Like, it took her being injured for him to turn this new page on. That's my issue. I would not think it's a good thing for my man to show interest in me only because I almost lost my life. I don't think that's a positive thing. I would feel like, he feels this obligation, because I would wonder, like, are you feeling this way because of who I am? Or are you feeling this way because, you're feeling sorry for me because I was hurt? That's what I would want to know. Because why weren't you feeling this way for me before I got injured? What has changed? I'm still the same person. Yeah, I got injured, but I'm still the same person. And once I'm healed and I'm back to normal, are you still... I just think it's weird that you fall in love with someone, if that's what he's doing. It's weird that you fall in love with someone only after they're injured. That's just really strange to me. But I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm not like, the majority of people out there. A lot of people, like on Twitter and whatever social media, they talk about how this is just so wonderful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment between them. I don't think it is. I don't think it's that great that your man will only show you human decency and human kindness after you're severely injured. I just don't get it. So maybe maybe the reason why, okay, if I'm going to try to make a positive spin, maybe the reason why he's turned this new leaf is because before she got injured, maybe she was too much for him, as far as like, she was very assertive. She's a very intelligent girl. She was very assertive, successful in her career. She's a great athlete. Maybe all of that was too much for him. Maybe she was too much of an alpha female, too much of a go-getter, too much of a overachiever for him. And so now that she has been knocked down and she's very reliant on, what's the word? She's very reliant on him. She relies on him a lot. Maybe this is what changed him. Maybe now he's like, oh, okay, I like the gentler, softer, more dependent Emily, the one who allows me to take more of a dominant role in the relationship. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's the kind of man that wants a woman to be a little bit more submissive, a little bit more passive. And she just, she's never been in a real relationship. Well, she's never been in a serious relationship. And so maybe she's used to being very strong, very independent, does her own thing, does what she wants, because she's got this party girl reputation. People talk about her on the internet. They claim that she was bed hopping all over the place in their town, in her town. So maybe because of the fact that she was like this force to be dealt with, he wasn't accustomed to that. Now that she's so dependent on him, maybe this is what he likes, and maybe this is why he's being so caring towards her. I don't know. The whole thing is weird to me. When they meet the experts, they talk about how things have changed between them. They trust each other more. He says something about friendship. He says, well, now when we talk about being friends, it's not just talk, we're actually, proving it, or something like that. Emily said that he's been really amazing. This has brought them, to where they were before. Like, I guess when they first met, when they first arrived, for their honeymoon in Mexico, they were pretty close. I thought things were going to work out wonderfully between them. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these people. I don't know. I can't figure them out. But if I have to say one way or the other, I don't think this is a good sign between Emily and Brennan. I don't think this is the start of something beautiful. I think it's just strange and weird that if his feelings have changed, which I don't think they have, but if his feelings for her have changed and he sees her like he sees her in a romantic way, I think it's weird that this happened only because she got injured. Let's move on to Michael and Chloe. So Michael and Chloe, when we see them, Chloe says that she's deeply introverted and that she needs her space. She's worried about her dogs, and so she wants to go spend some time with her dogs because she has really old dogs. Her dogs are really old, and so she's worried about them. So she says she wants to go spend more time with them. Obviously, she just wants to get away from him. She just needs time by herself because it's too much for her. So she tells him that she's going to go spend some time at home, and he was kind of worried about that. He was like, what the hell? But after, I guess, she explained about how much she's worried about her dogs and she's an introvert and she needs space, he was okay with it. So then she tells us that here's the man who is everything I've ever wanted. So what is making me feel like I need to take a break? Because you're not attracted to him, because you're not feeling him, maybe. This is not what you want. So she meets up with one of her friends, and she talks about how she had moved out for about a week or so, and she said that while she was gone, she really did miss Michael. She says she has no concerns about the relationship at all, no issues at all, and her friend was kind of like doubtful about this. So the friend says, well, he seems to say all the right things at the right time. Do you think he's actually being sincere? And she says, well, he hasn't given me a reason to believe that he's not sincere. So then moving on from there, she moves back in, and they're getting ready for the housewarming party. The friends come over. I don't have much to say about that scene, about the friends coming over and questioning I didn't really care about that. Let's move on. So then they're boxing, and he's training her, like teaching her some stuff about boxing. And while he's in the ring with his trainer, she got turned on. She was kind of attracted to him. And she liked, what she was seeing. And then after that, they have a conversation, and she tells him that, your friends told me that you are a people pleaser, and I am a recovering people pleaser. So she tells him that she doesn't want them to get so focused on pleasing the other that they lose sight of their own needs. And of course, he's okay with that, whatever. The bottom line between Michael and Chloe to me is that I think Chloe is trying to look at the glass half full. I think she's really trying to see, or trying to connect with the part of him that that she could possibly be attracted to. I just don't think that he's her type. I don't think that he's her type. I think that Michael and Lauren would have made a better match. But I guess that experts don't want to be messy like that. But I think Michael and Lauren would have been a better match than Michael and Chloe. I think Chloe still needs to have a guy who's a lot more like her, a lot more reserved, a lot more conservative. But her friends are also kind of like not that reserved or conservative to me. But I don't know. So I don't know anything, y'all. This is a horrible review. I don't know anything. I'm so confused because one week you're thinking things are working out, then the next week, it's all going to hell. So Michael and Chloe, I think she's just not that into him. I think that he's a great guy. She's a great gal, but I just don't think that they're meshing together. I don't think that they're a great couple. I think that she's really trying to find something to hang on to, but I don't think she really feels it in her heart. He's just too out there for her. He's too eclectic. He's too weird. He's too strange. But I like Michael. I think he's fun. I think he's exciting. And I wish that they would have matched him with Lauren. If Lauren was open-minded enough to want to work things out with Orion, then I think she would have been open-minded enough to be with a guy like Michael. Moving on to Cameron and Claire. So Cameron meets up with Brennan and he talks about his medical condition. He has atrial flutter and he says it feels like he's suffocating in his heart. So he's got some real issues. And I think, this is going to really change how he lives out the rest of his life and how he takes care of himself. He talks about how because of the fact that Claire has, moved on with the other couples and experienced different things with everybody else, she's emotionally mature to a whole nother level, whereas he's been kind of stunted because he's been in the hospital. So he has not had that opportunity to emotionally mature in this process. He talks about, so as he's talking to Brennan, he has to catch his breath. And Brennan was like, slow down, don't rush. Brennan has a very sweet side to him, I think. I think he does have a very caring side, obviously, because we see how he takes care of Claire. But I just don't think him and Claire are a match. I mean, not him and Claire, him and Emily. I don't think him and Emily are a match. But he does have a very sweet side to him. I don't think he's this horrible person. I just think that he's not a good match for Emily. So, Cameron then talks about how Claire was giving him mixed signals. Like when it came time for him to move out, when he made the decision to leave the apartment, she was crying and he didn't understand. Are you crying because you don't want me to go? Or are you crying because of, the fact that this is an emotional moment and we're going our separate ways? So he says that if she decides to stay with him on decision day, he's going to say yes as well. And because of this, I hope the experts ask him first, because Cameron, we want to know what you really want, not you trying to satisfy Claire. We want to know what is it that you really want to do. Claire meets up with her mom and she talks about how she tried to reach out to Cameron. She tried to show support to Cameron because that's just her nature, to be a giver, to be there and take care of people. But he really wasn't interested in that. She said that she loves him as a person, but husband and wife is not the correct title for them. And then she starts crying because she really does like him and she loves him as a person, but there's no romantic feelings there. And I think she feels bad about that because to her, I guess he's a really great guy, but she just feels bad that she doesn't feel what she's supposed to feel for him. And he deserves that, but she just can't give that to him. And I think that makes her feel kind of guilty. And this is another situation. Cameron is great. Claire is great, but they're not great together. So, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, Dr. Pia, y'all did a horrible job this season. I think it's going to be 0 for 5. Y'all did a horrible job. I think the worst job of all is Orion and Lauren. And I hate to say it, but I think Michael and Chloe as well. Michael is just not a good fit for Chloe. I don't know why they like to match opposites. I don't get it. I don't understand why they always feel the need to match opposites. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.